This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, and it's a day game in Philly. We're at Citizens Bank Park. Game number 3, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies. And with the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes, as always, is with us as well. The Cardinals are now 2 games below 500. They've dropped 2 in this series. They're trying to salvage a game. And Jimmy, the Cardinals have shuffled up the lineup, and they have a guy that's pitched quite well in the month of May, and that's Dakota Hudson.
Boy, have they ever shuffled up that lineup today, and they're going to look towards Dakota Hudson to save this series and get back on the winning track. And you can see this May, he's had some quality outings, 5 starts, 4 quality starts, pretty good ERA. And he's going to be the savior today. He needs to go out there and pitch his game, get ahead, and use that nasty slider.
Well, you think about success with Dakota Hudson. It's ground balls, and he can do that. And they're on the rise here in the month of May. Look at this list. Major League starters this season: ground ball percentage: Castillo, Hudson, Stroman, the former Phil, Hamels, and Sonny Gray. The Cardinals in search of a win. A lineup shuffle. Hudson on the mound. Coming. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Steak and Shake. Get 4 meals with 4 items for $4. 4, 4, 4. Get more for 4 only at Steak and Shake. Overcast skies here in Philly. We understand that there could be some rain in the forecast later this afternoon, but there is a window to get this one in. And along with the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, and as always, the cat on the scene, Jim Hayes. I'm Dan McLaughlin. It's 80 degrees here in Philly as we get set for game number 3. Game 1 saw the Cardinals lead 4-3. Wainwright strikes out 10. The Phillies struck out 13 times in the game, but they had a couple of key hits. They took game 1. Then Mike Schilt. Tough game last night. Genesis Cabrera, Major League debut. So-so, not bad, but not enough. So they've dropped the first 2 of this series, and the Cardinals are in desperate need of a win. They're now 26-28. So we talked about the lineup. Jimmy addressed this in the pregame show, and it's a shuffling of the lineup, trying to get something going. So Colton Wong at the top. So Paul DeYoung going to the 2nd spot. Goldschmidt to the 3rd position. Ozuna cleanup. Jose Martinez. Matt Wieters. Then Jed Jerko. Harrison Bader. And Dakota Hudson on the mound for St. Louis. Jared Eichhoff, right-hander that shut down the Cardinals in a day game, ironically enough, at Busch Stadium earlier this year, will get the start. His record is 2-2. And in that start against St. Louis, he absolutely dominated the Cardinals. He doesn't throw hard. Fastball averages right around 89 miles an hour. 8th lowest fastball in terms of miles per hour in baseball. But on this day, he shut down the Cardinals. 8 innings, 3 hits, 106 pitches, no runs. He walked 3. He struck out 4, and he baffled the St. Louis lineup.
Baffled is the word you used, and that looked like it right there on TV. That's one of those things where you can't just get comfortable because he's throwing 89. He's got a nice grouping of off-speed pitches. He spots his fastball. He's not going to really give in, so really got to stay back as a hitter and try to drive the ball the other way. He's not going to overpower you at any point during this game.
Well, Jimmy, in our post-production meeting late last night, we were talking about how, in reviewing some of the game film, how the Cardinals can get this thing going. And we both said, well, you got to shake up the lineup, and that's our Toyota key to the game.
Yeah, the key to the game today is the lineup shakeup. Say that 3 times really fast and see how it goes. But you got to do whatever it takes, and I think Mike's getting to that point. Nothing else is working right now. They're really close, just not breaking through and getting the big hit, getting the big outing. And so today the lineup is shooken up.
Wong trying to bunt his way on. It's a beauty. Hustling down the line and just got him by a step, and a nice play hopping from behind the plate, Andrew Knapp.
That was a great play by Andrew Knapp, because that ball rolls another 2 times towards third base. He gets a little bit more on this bunt. They got no chance of getting him, but he got out there in a hurry. To see what actually hurt Colton Wong is he had backspin on that ball. It actually checked up like one of your little chip shots around the green, Danny.
Jimmy, I haven't checked up a chip in at least 10 years. Usually it just goes right off the green.
Little bump and run.
Yeah, I skull it a lot. It happens.
Colton Wong could have used that right there.
So here's Paul DeJong. How about from a hitter's perspective when you go into a different spot in the lineup? We talk about game situations, but just the idea that you're in a different spot in the lineup.
You know what? You can't think much about it when you're the hitter. You're still going to get pitched the same way. You still have to take your same approach. Maybe if you're Paul DeJong and Colton Wong hits a leadoff double, you might try to move him over right there. Just something a little different that you might not do in the 3 and 4 hole. But really, it's the same game. It's just to see if you can get a couple guys hot, or get a couple guys started in a certain area, and maybe that will trigger some more action in that lineup.
DeJong 1 for his last 22. Fowler 0 for his last 19. He's not in the lineup, and the one guy that actually is hit in this series is on deck, and that's Goldschmidt.
Yeah, maybe trying to get a few more guys in front of him.
Yes.
And the Tony La Russa used to move guys around just a little bit to kind of, depending on the pitcher that day, what he felt was going to be the best for, say, Mark McGwire or Albert Pujols, where you're going to put a lefty in front of him or behind him on any given day to make sure that he gets pitched to. And maybe right now he's thinking, okay, Goldie's about to get hot. I'm going to back him up one, get a couple guys in front of him, knowing that Ozuna is behind him.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And another hanging breaking ball. He's hung a couple here to DeJong, and if he does that consistently today, could be a short afternoon for Eichhoff.
Yeah, this is the one thing you have meetings every morning. I'm sure they had the meeting today about how he pitched the last time and how you got to really try to stay out over the plate. You got to drive that home, and hopefully these guys try to stay up the middle with him.
And DeJong fouls it back. So since that great outing of 8 innings in St. Louis, his last 3 starts, oh boy, 9.75 ERA and the 7 home runs allowed. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Paul DeJong, and he hung that one, and it's pulled foul. Eichhoff is from Evansville, Indiana. Grew up a Cardinals fan, and he's mentioned how in the past it's been so odd for him to face the team that he grew up cheering for and loving. Adam Wainwright was one of his favorite players and pitchers growing up. And the 1-2. So when Wainwright was striking out Carlos Beltran to go to the World Series, and then Brandon Inge to end it, Jared Eichhoff was 16 years old, and he watched one of his idols strike out 10 in Game 1.
Well, Adam Wainwright was my favorite player at that time too, by the way.
A lot of us. That's up the middle, backhanded by the second baseman Hernandez, the stretch, and he got him. So long at bat produces a ground out, and the defense for the Phillies, McCutchen in left, Kingery in center, and Harper is in right. Franco, Segura, Hernandez, Hoskins along the infield, Andrew Knapp behind the plate, and around the horn is presented by Dobbs.
Pretty good at bat by Paulie right there. And the one thing that I have noticed is you see setting a tone today, Colton hustling down the line.
Yes.
And right there, DeJong really running hard down the line.
Well, there were some plays last night that you looked at and you said that is not the way you want to see the guys go at it.
Yeah, last night was a little awkward.
Yep.
To say the least.
Here's an 0-1 as Goldschmidt taps it foul in the hole now, 0-2. And here we go again. You mentioned the graphic that we saw before the game last night among the leaders in an 0-1 count. He said to you,
I feel like I'm 0-2 all the time.
That's right. Well, he is right here, 0-2.
He was talking about just getting a little whippy, like right there, where he's not letting the ball get deep and hitting the ball the other way like he's been doing. Got a pitch the other night right down the middle, and he rolled over it.
That backs up, and it's a called third strike. And Goldschmidt didn't like it. And a 1-2-3 inning for Eichhoff. For the Cardinals, it's Dakota Hudson. And while the team has struggled in May, he's been much better. We'll see if it carries over. Day baseball. Dakota Hudson had one appearance out of the bullpen. Other than that, it's been starts. He's 3-3, 4.22 ERA, 53 plus innings. The lefties have given him fits, and that's something we'll talk about, I'm sure, throughout our telecast today. The Hyundai pitch arsenal, the fastball, slider, curve, and changeup. Mentioned it in the open, Jim Edmonds, that the ground balls are piling up, and that's when Hudson's right.
The ground balls are piling up. He's doing a really nice job of that. 4 quality starts in his last 5 or 6 starts. And the one thing that I think that watching for is obviously the ground balls. Probably the sinker down will get those ground balls. But in a jam, he's going to go to that slider. And at times we've seen that slider be completely unhittable.
Mentioned a quality start, and there's Andrew McCutchen. So starter gives you 6 innings, 3 runs or fewer allowed. And that's up and in. Cardinals last year with quality starts, and this is the importance of getting a guy that starts the game, lasts for over half of it, and gives you a chance to win. The Cardinals were 50-50 and 18 last year when they got a quality start from their rotation, and this year they're 13-9. There's your ground ball to start for Hudson. That's Jed Jerko, 1 away. Take a look at Gabe Kapler's lineup here this afternoon. And it's McCutchen, Segura, and then the red hot Bryce Harper, Hoskins, Hernandez, Kingery, Knapp, Franco, Eichhoff. The Phillies batting order for day baseball. It brings in Gene Segura. You think the cat will report from the Gloria ball down the street, bar down the street?
You know what? I think he's had enough.
Okay.
I think he's moved on. I think he cannot wait to get home and maybe report from the home arena.
Well, I think last night
called
Enterprise Center.
Enterprise Center.
Yeah. They all could have picked him up like you're at a concert and just tossed him around.
That's what I was waiting to see.
Another ground ball. There's Jerko to his left, and there's out number 2. So Segura retired, and now it's Harper, who's 5 for 8 in the 2 games in this series with 4 extra base hits, 3 doubles, home run. He's driven in 6. He has scored 2. What will endear you to the fans? Production here in Philly, clearly, but hustle. And he turns this one into a double.
Well, if you don't like him, if you're a visiting player or fans from another city, if you don't like Bryce Harper, you definitely have to like what you saw last night with that play. You cannot knock him for not hustling.
So 2 outs and nobody on. Found it interesting that the hitting coach here with the Phillies, John Maley, he was talking about Harper, and really it's not only in this series, but in his last 12 games he's driven in 9, and he said he's not swinging as hard. He said simply he's looking to make contact. He's not swinging out of his shoes with every pitch, and he's not swinging the bat as hard. And we've seen him even with Cabrera last night, who's throwing upper 90s. Just contact, barrel got through, base hit to left.
Yeah, and you can see right there when he swings hard, he's got a little bit of an awkward swing. It's a little different than everyone else in this league. I talk to my son all the time. There's only one Bryce Harper in this world, and you can see even when he swings through the ball right there, he kind of falls back. And when you fall back, you're out of balance a little bit. When you step that up a notch and swing even harder, you get more out of control, and then you're pulling off pitches. And I think that is number one reason why he was struggling with the fastball up and away for a while.
Pujols jersey and the crowd of Harper jerseys, and that's out of play. Last 14 games against the Cardinals, a lot of production. That includes a grand slam hit off of today's starter for the Cardinals, Dakota Hudson, back in early May at Busch Stadium. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Shift on the right side and pulled foul. He's such an intriguing guy to watch play, even for you who's been around this game for a long time. We have had our off mic conversations about this guy, Bryce Harper. He intrigues you.
He does. He just, I mean, like I said, there's only one Bryce Harper. His swing is unique. He really lets it fly. He's been doing this for so long, and then all of a sudden he's struggling a little bit. You see the hustle, and now he's starting to turn it up a notch. You don't see this a whole lot, but that is a nasty, nasty slider.
10-pitch. 2019 Google MLB All-Star Ballot is now open, and you can rock the ballot. Cardinals.com/vote on Google by searching for your favorite Cardinals or MLB vote. Yadier Molina, you would think, has a good shot to head to the Midsummer Classic. He's had 9 All-Star appearances. Most by Cardinal was Stan the Man. He had 24. Ozzie with 14. Kenny Boyer, the captain, at 11. Here's Marcell Ozuna. Talking with Marcell today at the team hotel about his approach, and he said when he's out in front, that's the issue. If I can stay back, I'm going to drive the ball. And he said, I'm happy with the home runs batted in. Got to get the average up. And when the average goes up, other things seem to feed off of that too.
Yeah, you hit 300, get near 300. The home runs, the RBIs, everything else will take care of themselves.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And a fly ball lifted out to deep right field. Harper near the wall, looks up, and it's gone. His second home run in this series. And again, both have gone the opposite way. Ozuna with home run number 16. He's driven in 49, and we're not even in June. It's 1-0 St. Louis.
It's a nice job of hitting right there. Marcell staying back. That ball jams him a little bit. But like we were talking about last night, this is a great place to hit. She doesn't jam him a little bit. He just stays inside it. Lets it get deep. Doesn't kill it.
The ball will fly.
Just enough. Interesting, at full speed, that ball looked like it got in on him a little bit. He just did such a nice job of staying behind the ball.
That's what he was talking about with me. If I can stay back and I don't get out in front, I can drive the ball. So I get antsy sometimes.
Well, that is a pretty good teacher itself right there, is that at bat, for both of his home runs in this ballpark for that matter.
So he's got 49. Bell had a 3-run homer yesterday. The Pirates 51, and then Bellinger, all-world player, he's got 52. Vicious hack there by Jose Martinez. He was part of a double switch midway through the ball game yesterday. Came in at right, and fly ball hit down the right field line and missed it. Was charged with an error. The Cardinals had 2 errors in the game. And Jose out in front a bit, pops it up. And the catch made by the shortstop Segura. 1-0 Cardinals on the home run hit by Ozuna. And now it brings in Matt Wieters. He's got 2 home runs this year. 1 coming off the bench. The other one last night as a starter. Kubota Power Stats, and both have been off of right-hander Aaron Nola. The switch hitting catcher is average at 370. when Molina is healthy and playing every day, you got to wonder if Mike Schilt would be more aggressive using Wieters off the bench with versatility as a switch hitter. You don't like to be left without a backup, but also late in games, you got to take your shots.
He's put some good at bats together, and you keep doing that, it buys yourself some pinch hitting roles. Even if you are the backup catcher, you might stay in, maybe go to first, or you never know. Molina plays third, and you get in a pinch.
He's got 2 home runs. He's driven in 8 in only 27 at bats. I mean, that's production there. And nobody, according to Matt Wieters, wanted him except the Cardinals. And Francisco Pena, he was in a battle with him to make the squad as the backup, and then Pena went to the minor leagues and has since been traded away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Eichhoff staring back at the home plate umpire Kerwin Danley, who also serves as the crew chief with this crew. Mike Molinsky down at first, Rob Drake at second, and Tim Timmons at third. And the 2-2. Wieters with a high drive into deep right. Will it carry? It's at the wall. Gone! The second home run hit in this inning. Ozuna, now Wieters, and a 2-0 St. Louis lead. On a 2-2 pitch, and now Eichhoff has allowed 9 home runs in his last 3 games.
He is not happy either, because he thought he had Wieters struck out, glaring back at the umpire.
So 2-0, couple of solo home runs. And here's Jed Jerko. Matt Wieters, you talk about production. That's now 9 driven in and 3 homers and 29 at bats.
Just a little slider that stayed over the plate. Matt just threw his hands at it, and like you said, the ball flies here.
It was a long stare by Eichhoff to Kerwin Danley. He was not happy one bit. Outside to Jerko, and it's 2-1. Kerwin's been around a long time. The umpires today: Jerko hitting 191 with 1 home run. Fastball in there for a strike. And the 2-2 way outside. So Matt Wieters a chance to play with Yachty on the bench and producing. Home run last night and again here in game 3. Well, this is what the Cardinals need, Jimmy. A little spark, little jump.
Need to keep going though.
Game 1 there was a couple home runs and then it was shut down after that. Pulled foul. And the 3-2 out to center field, backing up Kingery, and the catch is made. So Fowler sitting today along with Matt Carpenter. And you think about those 2 guys in that leadoff spot and how they need to get production from the top of the lineup. Mentioned that Fowler 0 for his last 19 after being moved to the top spot. That was Friday. Carpenter overall a .214 average, and overall from the leadoff spot combined with the different players they've used, a 201 average for the Cardinals this year as Bader drops down a bunt foul. So you think about it, when you got Goldschmidt, DeYoung, Ozuna behind number one, you got to get that guy on.
That's important. I think that's why maybe they move Goldschmidt back a notch now. You get a chance, maybe you get one out of the two guys get on, and then you got him, and then if he's hot, you get to your 4-hole hitter. But you're right, the leadoff guy is so important, and the second guy kind of trying to move guys around. But I kind of like the fact that if Paul gets hot, you push everyone back a little bit and see if you can't do some more damage.
And the 0-1 to Bader. He was lifted in the game last night, and yeah, on paper it was a blowout, but a key at bat was runners at second and third, only one out. Bader, the 8th place hitter, had struck out, did not put the ball in play. There's a curveball that drops in. And I realize it seems like strikeouts are an accepted part of the game, but in that spot you got to put the ball in play. 1-2 the count. Big gap in left center. Harrison also in game 1 had an exceptional throw from center field to get Bryce Harper trying to score. One of the better throws we've seen all year.
It's funny you say that. I was going to say probably the best throw of the year so far.
That was pitch number 25 of the inning, after he had a 13 pitch first inning. The 3-2, and Bader puts it on the ground to third baseman Michael Franco. The pick at first, nicely done on a backhanded pick by Hoskins. The Cardinals get a couple of home runs. Ozuna on a 1-2 pitch. Then on a 2-2, Matt Wieters. 2-0 Cardinals. If you can't catch a game on television, you can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app. Log in. Stream the Cardinals, presented by T-Mobile. Well, Jim Hayes was everywhere last night, covering a little baseball in the pregame. Then he goes to the Blues Gloria Bar and covers that. Then he comes back and he's got more baseball. Jimmy, what do you have for us today?
It was only a mile away. It was really a short trip last night. We are talking Cardinals baseball today. Colton Wong told me he's really excited about leading off today because he really wants to help his team break out of a rough stretch. Colton told me, "I hate the month of May." Wong said every player has a rough month here and there, but this collectively has been a tough month for all of us in every aspect. In all my years of playing, I've never experienced anything like it. But Wong says we are a resilient group and we're still confident in what we're doing. Dan, the Cards desperately looking to break out of this thing.
Jimmy, you're in that clubhouse day in and day out. Give our fans an idea of the vibe right now with the team with this tough month.
Yeah, they're frustrated and they're angry about the level of play, but they're still confident, Dan, that they can turn it around. They're a team that not too long ago was 10 games over 500, and they feel like that's the team that they are, but they realize there have been some awful games. Last night was one of them.
Yeah, through May 1st, Cardinals had the best record in baseball. They were 20-10. Since then, they've dropped 18 of 24. Only the Mariners have had a record below St. Louis in that time frame. Thank you, Jimmy. Rhys Hoskins at the plate, then Hernandez and Kingery. And it's been a collective effort. Starting pitching, bullpen, offense. The offense was averaging about 5.5 runs per game when they were 10 games above 500. And right now it's about 4 as that ball exploded back in on the hands of Rhys Hoskins.
That's a great pitch right there, and that's the pitch he's going to need in order to make that slider much more effective. But that ball starts off middle in and just runs. You got no chance. But now you got to respect that pitch. Makes it harder to hit the slider. Probably coming right here.
The 2-2, and he struck him out. Good pitch.
That's not even his best slider, which is all the more reason why you got to pitch inside.
Second strikeout for Dakota. We started reading the promos for the All-Star game leading up to the event on Fox, and I was thinking about both teams who might go, and this guy at the plate has a chance. Cesar Hernandez, a bounce-back year. 305 the average, 6 home runs. He's driven in 27. One of the main players at his position in competition undoubtedly will be Derek Dietrich of the Cincinnati Reds. Scooter Gennett went out and they thought, uh-oh, that's a major loss. And it is.
Caught fire.
But Dietrich is on fire. And the 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Hudson, you know, he wanted that first pitch. Didn't get it, and Hernandez is saying, wait a minute, that's off the plate here in pitch number 3 of the at bat.
The first pitch down the middle is a ball. How is the pitch around the plate a strike?
Little chopper hit to a busy Jed Jerko. That's 5 outs recorded by Hudson, and none have left the infield. 3 ground ball outs and 2 strikeouts. Around the horn presented by Dobbs. Ozuna, Bader, and Martinez in the outfield. Jerko, DeYoung, Wong, and Goldschmidt on the infield. Matt Wieters behind the plate.
You said that no balls left the infield, but no one else has touched it but the pitcher, the catcher, and the third baseman. It's pretty good right there.
Well, Goldschmidt.
Oh, the first baseman, too. He gets to
Jimmy.
receive a throw every now and then.
Come on, you played about 20 years in the big leagues.
3 ground balls the third and 2 strikeouts.
There's a strike at the knees to Scott Kingery. I've got to keep you
a little fun.
Well, I got to keep you on your toes.
Oh, you should. Yeah. Well, I was trying to keep you on your toes. But you're right. They're playing catch and they're playing catch. The point was there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other guys out there basically not doing anything so far.
Here's the 0-1 pitch.
Well, let's just keep it that way.
I like that. Nothing at 2. Another very good pitch by Dakota. And Kingery saying, oh boy.
What am I going to do with that? I think that those are those pitches when you think about it as a hitter, you say, I can't swing at that. So I'm not going to hit it.
About Larry Boa last night in our interview, saying you may have been the most talented player he's ever coached, managed, or played with.
That's a compliment coming from him, because I'll tell you what, he has been around a long time.
Best catch he ever saw was in Kansas City, and your catch with the back to the infield.
He was there.
He didn't see the one in Cincinnati. That's the best catch I've seen. I like that one better. And you've told me the best one you made was actually in winter ball.
It was the same kind of play as the one in Kansas City, except for I ended up sliding into the fence and my hand got stuck underneath the chain link fence. There's a lot of them out there that are fun that don't really see on TV or haven't seen much highlights. There was a pretty good one in Toronto early on in Anaheim. I think actually not too far after the Kansas City catch, where it's kind of the same catch, but I was running into the wall at the same time as it was going over my shoulder.
The 2-2 lifted in the air down the right field line and out of play. Tommy, our director, says, I love the one that you made in Game 7, 2004 in LCS, Brad Ausmus. But that was a lot of mental that went into that, because you started moving with the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, that's just part of it, right? You try to get these young outfielders to kind of get that concept where they can see what's happening before it happens, and it's kind of just the jump I got and figured I better catch this or we're not going to get to play too much more.
And you made the play. Hudson sharp, 6 up, down. So here it is, Brad Ausmus, Game 7, 2004. Edmonds with the diving catch in left center. And most believe that saved the game and the series after Jimmy had sent us to a Game 7 with a walk-off homer in Game 6. I I've talked to you about specifically that play, and you mentioned Osmus, you mentioned Suppan, the count, what you're expecting, and it leads into how you teach the game to outfielders today. You've got to understand what the pitcher, what the pitcher's trying to do, what pitch is coming, and then where, if he delivers the pitch properly,
that's going to go in a certain spot.
Yep, you know the hitter.
If he doesn't, it's going to go somewhere else. And
you started moving to your right, didn't you?
That's kind of what happened. I think it was supposed to be a fastball away, and I was playing way over in right center field, and I saw as soon as the ball came out of Jeff's hand, it wasn't going to be away. So I just, knowing Brad Osmus, kind of started running into left center. Thinking to myself, if he does hit this ball the way I know he can, he's going to hit it harder to left center than he was to right center. So I'm still safe in right center. But that's the thing, right? So if I'm playing shallow in right center, I'm giving away the right center field deep gap, but knowing that if the ball is pulled, the left center field gap is the one I got to go get also. And that's why you bring your left fielder over and say, hey, I got this. Right fielder, I got this. It's kind of like a little diagram where wherever I'm at, everyone else has to have the other stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, Willie and I were doing this the other day in the locker room yesterday or the day before, and I had a salt shaker, a pepper shaker, and a little cap of a water bottle.
Wong drives it in the gap in right center, and the catch made there by Harper. Willie played deep, you played shallow, but boy, there's some gold gloves there and a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, and we talk about it all the time, and you know, he's playing on the turf. The ball really, I mean, you play deeper on the turf, the ball really gets to you faster on the ground, so you're not really too worried about that. Bigger field that he played in, and just a lot of fun we have back and forth. I'll tell you what, every time I walk down into that locker room, we end up finding each other and talking about defense. We had a good conversation today, and we're just always trying to improve these guys, because if you think about who's out there in that outfield, they're still pretty young. All the way around, and especially, you know, as far as experience in the outfield and learning the things that we want them to learn, as far as thinking for themselves, understanding counts, and not just saying, oh, it's 2 strikes, we're going to move in, or oh, it's 2-0, we're going to move back. It's the catcher setting up in certain locations. Certain pitches are coming from certain pitchers, and certain hitters are going to do certain things with these pitches. And if the ball is missed or the pitch is missed, where is it going to end up then? And that's a lot to think about. It's really hard for a lot of young players to grasp.
But young players at this level, or old players, you got to do it. And that's what makes a good team defensively.
Well, and that's the struggle, right? You don't have to do it, because everyone's getting paid on offensive production. They're teaching everyone at the minor league level, not us in general. That the story came from, you know, Willie was saying everyone at the minor league level is concerned with, you know, throwing hard and hitting home runs, and it's kind of transitioning itself into the big leagues. And we talk about every day, swings and misses, home runs, velocity. Defense is kind of slowly going by the wayside, and it's really hard to, you know, get them back on track. But to be honest with you, if you want to win, you got to do the little things, and the little things is play defense.
9-pitch inning. Game number 3 will be Saturday from Enterprise Center, the Blues and the Bruins. Pre and post game are here on Fox Sports Midwest. Extended pregame, extended postgame. Reaction last night, both at Enterprise Center, Ballpark Village. They're going wild. And Saturday we've got Cubs and Cardinals. Play Gloria. The Blues are in the Stanley Cup final. Not final.
I gotta get me one of those t-shirts right there somehow. Gotta get one. Final. Was that what you were saying?
Yeah, we're going to get you a shirt.
I need a shirt.
Well, I was told that it's in the NHL. It's not the finals with an S. There's a liner, and it played a little trick there on DeYoung, and a base hit. And the first hit is Andrew Knapp, the switch hitting catcher. So you have the NBA finals, but it's the NHL final.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second. Watch this replay. This is the funkiest thing. This is, well, we didn't get to see that, but we'll see this. It's almost like he double hit that. Did you see the way the ball moved off the bat?
Well, DeYoung
another
was
shot of that.
Mixed up with it. I wonder if it knuckled on him or something. He didn't hit it very hard.
It looked like he got inside of it so far that it was almost like you know, sometimes you can like double foul a ball off or double hit it. It looked like it just took a left-hand turn.
There's Michael Franco in that pitch inside after the first hit given up by Hudson.
Maybe they can hook us up with this replay, and here you go. Oh, he just got really jammed.
Hit the top of the baseball, looked like.
Oh, he did.
He hit
kind of little highlight.
It looked like he double hit it.
Is that legal? Let's go back to that.
How about this double play ball? 6-4-3 off the bat of Franco.
And sorry to interrupt. I'll let you go back because I was learning something from you when you were talking about the difference between the NBA Finals and the the NHL Finals. So I'm sorry I interrupted that.
No, I understand.
I'm learning myself.
NBA is with an S. NHL is with final. So get it right, Jimmy.
Sorry. I'm confused though because they're both playing a 7-game series.
Right.
And they're both going on at the same time. But I guess maybe that's like in hockey when you are offside and not offsides, like in football.
Good point.
Very, very confusing these sports. Maybe it's just an American-Canadian thing.
So Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final will be Saturday at Enterprise Center. So Ballpark Village, Enterprise Center, Busch Stadium.
I'll tell you what, I'm so glad the Enterprise people are around in St. Louis these days.
Taylor family's been incredible.
One heck of a job with now naming the hockey arena and trying to bring soccer to our great city.
Carolyn Kendall Betts with Jim Cavanaugh from Worldwide Technology and Tom Strunk, and
they've been great.
It's been remarkable what they've done in a short amount of time. Another ground ball, and Hudson will flip to Goldschmidt. It was a base hit, but still turned into a 7-pitch inning because of the. Thanks to On the Run, $6 tickets available for you when Joey Votto and the Reds come to St. Louis next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Cardinals.com/6. $6 seats. T-Mobile connecting you to Major League Baseball. What's happening? The Rays have won 5 straight. They're 15 above 500, 1 game back in the East of the American League. Cody Bellinger leads the National League, high average, runs batted in, 20 home runs, second in the National League. And their arch rival, the Giants, it's been a tough go in what is Bruce Bochy's final year in San Francisco, 12 games below the 500 mark. Dakota Hudson has faced the minimum. The Cardinals have a pair of home runs hit by Ozuna and Wieters back in the 2nd inning. And it's Goldschmidt, Ozuna, and Martinez here in inning number 4. 2-0 St. Louis. Goldschmidt, a home run in game 1 of the series. That was his 11th of the year. And there's a strike. You can see at times that with Eichhoff, Jimmy, he is getting beat on that curveball that is just kind of hanging there. It's not the sharp break. And his fastball coming into play today was 89.5 miles per hour, 8th slowest in the National League.
Well, if you see what he's doing, he's trying to throw that breaking ball down and away, which he's missing with, and it is hanging, but he's also throwing that fastball up and in. So if you're a hitter, you have to recognize the fact that he's just trying to brush you back with that fastball to throw that pitch. So you cannot get caught up in trying to hit that fastball thinking to yourself, oh man, he's trying to come inside, I'm going to kill it. You got to think, okay, you threw your pitch inside, now you're going to throw the breaking ball. And if you stay with that plan, that will help you. And you just have to stay with that plan, even though he might throw a strike inside. You just got to say, okay, you're not going to do that again. I'm with you. I know what you're trying to do. I'm going to stay out there. It's the guys that get beat with that are the guys that try to hit the fastball inside.
There's the curveball and a base hit. Goldschmidt hustling out of the batter's box and held to a single. And with Marcell Ozuna coming up, let's go back to his home run via StatCast, powered by AWS. Just over the wall and right, and then 2 batters later, Matt Wieters connected the souvenir in right field. Jose Martinez to follow Ozuna. Eickhoff has had a 13-pitch inning in the first. Then damage done by the Cardinals in the second. In the third, a 9-pitch inning. And let's see what the Cardinals do here in the fourth. Ozuna hits it sharply and off the glove of Segura. Played it to the side. And the first 2 have reached. Also talked to Marcell about that. We were mentioning double plays. He said, you know, Dan, I've hit into a number of double plays this year, but I have to remind myself not to get frustrated because they're balls like that.
It's part of
they're
it.
hard hit balls.
Well, it's part of it. He's not the fastest guy down the line, and you know they put the shift on. He hits line drives at people, and you just got to deal with it. I don't think that if you're a guy who grounds into a lot of double plays, it's some cause for concern. You just deal with that's your part of your game, and it's just like if you fly out a lot, that's it.
Ooh, the runners started, and now Goldschmidt is picked off at second base. Started a little too early, and he's picked off at second.
Well, it looked like he was trying to get a jump there, where maybe in the meeting today, or maybe they have a thing where he's a one-look kind of guy. You can see right here he looks, and he looked back, kind of caught him. I like it, though. I like Paulie trying to run there, especially for him being a big guy, trying to get a jump. You got to be aggressive. You hate to see him obviously go back and say you hate to see him getting thrown out, but clearly something going on where here we're trying to steal a base right there.
Cardinals looked at a challenge and elected not to do it. So now a runner at first and 1 out. And this is where if Eickhoff gets a ground ball, you get a double play. It's a momentum shifting type inning for the Phillies. However, Jose Martinez is thinking, let's do some damage. But that's the way things have gone here, haven't they?
Yeah, and that's the one thing. I mean, the only downfall is you have Jose Martinez at the plate. But if you rewind, and when you're running the bases and you're in a situation where you're trying to be aggressive, kind of your mind goes blank to who's really hitting. And it's funny because you know you'll run in there and you sit down and they'll come over and be like, hey, Jose's hitting, you got to remember it. And you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that part of the game, because it's just there's so many things going on in your mind out there.
And the check swing just foul.
This is kind of that fastball we're talking about, right? He's trying to get inside. The ball's up and in. He's trying to get inside so he can make this breaking ball that he's probably going to throw right here a little bit more effective.
And the 1-1 pitch fouled back, and a good rip by Martinez, talking to himself and the bat.
I'm sure the bat had something to say to him, and doesn't doubled up a lot today. You want to know what he said? Can't repeat it. Sorry. Not even the translation would sound
proper
the right way over the air. But that's the first time I think he's doubled up with fastballs.
And a strikeout of Martinez, caught looking. Eichhoff picks up his 3rd strikeout of the day. And it brings in Matt Wieters. It's one of the better breaking balls we've seen
from him. It was a good one too, and it looked like Martinez had fastball all on his mind and nothing else.
Here's Wieters now with 3 home runs. He's driven in 9 in very limited time. That play that went off the glove of Segura ruled a hit for Marcell Ozuna. Not an error, so a couple of hits in this inning. And back in the 2nd inning on a 2-2 pitch. High towering drive by Matt Wieters. That made it 2-0, and that's our score as we play here in the top of the 4th. Runner goes. That's Ozuna. Hit the other way by Matt Wieters. And Ozuna stopping at second base.
I think he lost the ball right there, thinking maybe it was a line drive to the 3rd baseman.
But with 2 outs, what's the difference?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's like he just slowed down as if somebody caught it. See how the 3rd baseman held up his glove? Well, maybe not. He just figured he wasn't going anywhere.
Wieters is now 2 for 2, and maybe part of the thinking is that it was a line drive, hard hit. Left fielder there. Don't want to make the final out at 3rd, but he was off and running with the pitch. And now the pickoff at second base looms large. Let's see if Jerko can't pick him up. There's a strike. He flied to center his first time up.
I mean, you could draw a little circle at the top of the zone on the inside corner, just above the zone, and I bet you there's about 10 pitches at least that have been thrown in the same spot, kind of right at the umpire's belt buckle when he's standing up.
Jerko hits it softly to short, barehanded by Segura. What a play. So he couldn't make the play on the hard hit ball, but comes in and barehands it and takes an infield hit away from Jed Jerko. This is well done here. 2-0. Join Mike Schilt, and he'll host the Ted Savage RBI Golf Classic on Monday, June 24th at Norwood Hills Country Club. Unique experience. Pair foursomes with a Cardinals celebrity, including current players, coaches, and alumni. Registration cardinals.com/RBI Golf. Reviving baseball in the inner city.
Are you going to make that? I think I'm going to try and make that.
Absolutely.
And Danny Landon's got a tournament out of town, so we'll try to get back.
I do not have a tournament.
Not Danny.
Would be surprised if Landon was in that shot there with all the other kids playing little ball.
No, he disappeared from his seat, so who knows where he's at.
Here's McCutchen, and first time through the lineup, 1 hit allowed by Hudson. That was Knapp, and that was erased on a double play. McCutchen grounded out to 3rd his first time up. And that's a strike, call the ball, and it's 1-1.
That is a strike, called the ball.
First time through the lineup, only 1 ball left the infield.
One of the best things I had ever heard in the locker room was, I understand you call a couple balls strikes, but how do you call a ball a strike? Or how do you call a strike a ball? I'm sorry. I can understand how you can miss a pitch on the edge, or the ball can go around and it's a ball to the strike zone, to the K zone. You call it a strike. But how do you call a ball down the middle in the square that should be a strike, an actual ball?
We see it a lot.
I just thought that was funny. That was just like, I never really thought of it until that I heard that, and then I thought, yeah, you're right.
So 3-2 on McCutchen. He's been swinging a hot bat. 9 extra base hits in his last 12 games. Little flare out to shallow right. That drops in for a hit. So both base hits. One looked to be a double hit off the bat of Knapp. And then that little flare. Kia give it everything. The lowest ERA, National League starters under 25 years of age. Marquez, Buehler, he's fantastic with the Dodgers. Flaherty, and then Hudson. Tying run comes to the plate in Gene Segura. Lifts a high fly ball into deep right. Martinez back and makes the catch. First out here in the home half of the 4th. That's the first fly ball out recorded by the Cardinals in this game. Brings in Harper, who struck out swinging his first time up. Hudson has struck out 3, has now walked a man. Jose Martinez playing at this ballpark about as deep as you could play in right field.
You know what we used to say when I played? When guys would run in after the inning was over, and I would grab them, no kidding, and I would spin them around, and they would say, "What are you looking at?" I was like, "Well, I wanted to see if you got paint from the wall on your jersey." What are you doing out there?
And Harper spins away, not happy with that.
What are the chances of a ball getting between him and the fence?
Not very good.
Thank you for answering. I was like, "Are you going to play with this game?"
Oh,
with me
I am.
No, I'm kidding. See, there's my guy right there. He's working on it. See, he's trying to get these guys a little bit more. Come on, a little bit more in. Get into the game. Don't just stand back there and wait on the ball.
Harper hits it the other way. Ozuna looks up, and it's off the top of the wall. He played it perfectly. It'll be a double for Harper. Few feet away from tying this game.
So that is a perfect example of defense, right? There's no way Ozuna catches this ball no matter where he's standing on the field. He could have been standing on the wall, and he's got to run over and get this ball. Then you have to jump up and catch it. So what do? That's perfectly fine. The ball was thrown down the middle. It's supposed to get hit hard. Your job is to catch it off the wall and get it back in. Come in there. No one's going to say a word. The pitcher's not going to be upset. There's nothing you can do. Those balls are not supposed to get caught. It's the good pitch down and away. The jam shot are the balls that the pitcher wants to be caught.
This is an interesting move here. Intentional walk of Rhys Hoskins to load him up, and what you're doing then is subjecting Hudson to a left-handed batter, and he's had his issues with the lefties, and we mentioned earlier that Hernandez is swinging the bat well.
Well, I bet you that they're thinking right here that they're going to give him a steady dose of that slider down and in. I hope that's what they're thinking.
Well, you got a 2-run lead too.
I would have definitely taken my chance with Hoskins. Maybe tried to do the same thing that their pitcher's doing. Eichhoff, throw a ball in off the plate, give him the slider away, just like he did with his last at bat.
And a strike to Hernandez. Yep, they called that a ball.
I don't know what they called it, to be honest.
I thought they called it a strike, and Hernandez, I'm not sure, realizes it. On the board here, they've got a ball, and I thought he called it a strike.
Well, the way KD reacted, it was really hard to tell, and then he ended up grabbing his mask as if he was adjusting. I'm going to have to say this is probably 1-and-run.
Yep.
The scoreboard is right. It was just weird. You don't see umpires kind of react that quickly with their strike calling hand and then reach up to his face like as if.
You know what he did? He picked something off his mask or his eye. So you saw the right hand come up after that first
quickly.
pitch. Yeah.
Which he doesn't realize that there are a lot of people at home thinking that he's going to call that a strike, including us two up here.
Well, and the strike zone is floated a bit, so It's a big pitch right here on 2-1. Pulled foul.
There's that slider right here. Now he's going to try and throw a better slider down and in. That slider that we're used to seeing, the strikeout slider, where we're hoping to just get some down action and not a whole lot of in.
I'm sure part of the thinking by Mike Schilt is not only the slider, but Hudson is getting a lot of ground balls too, and better and better and better. To me, it's kind of a risky move halfway through the game with a 2-run lead. The 2-2. There's your ground ball. Can they turn two? The turn not in time, and the run will score.
And that's the other issue right there. A guy that you have hitting from the left side that can run, even though he hits the ground ball, he beats it out. He just doesn't hit this ball hard enough. They can't turn it any faster. Chance you take.
So runners at the corners and Scott Kingery. And Kingery is in limited time for them produced. Came in with a .344 average, 3 home runs and driven in 9. Hernandez started for first base and then stopped. Dakota has struck out 3 on the afternoon, 2 of them coming in the second inning, and that was Kingery's result after his first plate appearance. And the 0-1 pitch popped up, and Wong going out, calling off Martinez, and he made the catch. Just make the catch. That's all that matters, right? He made the play. Little snow cone.
Snow cone to break.
Catch me. Fuse, this date in Cardinals history. See more at Fuse.com. Out of Texas A&M, Michael Walker, rapid rise to the minor leagues. Made his major league debut, and we saw a good fastball and that great changeup back in 2013, and even bigger things to come as he became the MVP of the NLCS of 13. Now in the bullpen, had a tough night last night, and that is our this date in Cardinals history, thanks to the good folks, Lou Fuse Automotive Network. I have a follow-up to that, Jimmy.
I'm listening. That's what I'm here for.
John Brebbia was born this date. He's 29 years young. Happy birthday to John Brebbia. There's a strike to Harrison Bader.
Got his first hit, first run scored, 1 day shy of his birthday. And we got home after midnight, so it was actually his birthday.
Good point. As Bader pops it up for the out. And Jim Hayes will have more on that eventful night of John Brebbia's first hit and first run scored coming up next half inning. And now a quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Watching the 2-0 while your friends go for the steal? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
Here's Dakota Hudson. Cardinals needed to get a good start today. I mean, that's the understatement of the afternoon, and thus far they've gotten that from Dakota Hudson. Got to have a starter have a shutdown game. We'll see if we get that throughout. Hudson grounds to short, 2 away. Reminder that Cardinals baseball is presented by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals, and by St. Louis Children's Hospital and Washington University Physicians, guardians of childhood. Wong has been retired on the first pitch in both plate appearances. Tried to bunt his way on and then lined out to right 0-for-2, and this is the top of the lineup. He's in that first spot.
Just because you're in the top of the lineup doesn't mean you have to take pitches. Just get on base somehow.
Get on.
Look at the shift.
3 on the right side of the infield. Wong spins away from that pitch. Who do you like at the top? Wong, Bader, Fowler, Carp?
You know what? I really don't know. I mean, I love the way Carp approached it. He just struggled, you know, the last 2 years. Started off slow. It's really hard to say because this day and age, you don't have a whole lot of guys hitting 300, and if you do, they're, you know, not around a whole lot. And it's got to get someone just consistent that you think is going to do a good enough job to see pitches and try to get on base. With their, you know, the on base percentage is probably going to be the biggest key for that.
4 strikeouts in the ball game, and that was an 8-pitch inning. The Budweiser What's on Tap. The Cubs in town. Darvish, Michaelis game 1. Quintana, Flaherty game 2. Hamels, Wainwright game 3. Games 1 and 3 will be seen on Fox Sports Midwest, and we hope you join us 6:30 tomorrow night with the pregame show. Always fun. The Cubs come to town, and then it'll be on Saturday the Cubs and Cardinals, and game 3 of the Stanley Cup final between the Blues and the Bruins, and we'll have pre and post game shows on Fox Sports Midwest for that one. Hudson pitching into the bottom of the 5th. Knapp, Franco, Eichhoff for the Phillies. 2-1 our score. Andrew Knapp got the first hit of the afternoon for the Phillies in inning number 3, and then was erased on a double play. And a grounder pulled foul. Looked like the bat had hit the ball unintentionally twice in Knapp's first plate appearance, which is okay. But if he had a batter intentionally hit the ball for a second time, or bat hits the ball second time, like if the bat is thrown in foul territory by mistake, hits the ball, then that batter is out.
I think he did it on purpose.
If he did, he's a magician. That was it there.
That is staying inside the ball. Nobody's business.
And the 2-2 pitch. A high strike going Hudson's way. Knapp can't believe it. And strikeout number 4.
Good pitch right there. Dakota's trying to get that ball to run back a little bit up out of the zone, but got good movement.
Here's Michael Franco as the Phillies are looking for a sweep of the Cardinals. 3 or more games for the first time since all the way back in August of 2006. This is a hot club. They've won 9 of their last 12. And in that stretch of games, it's been a 7-game road trip at Wrigley and also through Milwaukee. 2 tough places to play. And here at home, they're one of the better teams in baseball. They've won 20 of their 30 home games thus far. 3.5 game lead over Atlanta. The Mets now 6 back. They had a tough loss last night against the Dodgers. 2-2. And it's pulled into the glove of Jerko. A rocket hit by Franco, and it's out number 2. They're going to hit a ball much harder than that.
Nope. That's the way you get down on the sinker right there. You got to get underneath it. I think that pitch before probably got his attention. The one that hit him in the fingertips.
2-1 our score. 2 outs here in the home half of the 5th, and Eichhoff looks at a strike. That first inning, a few starts ago on a Sunday afternoon against Pittsburgh, Hudson looked lost. He had given up 3 runs, and you had to wonder if his days in the Cardinal rotation at that point were numbered. But the rest of the game he settled in, and since that point he has settled in. Here's a 1-1.
Tell you what, though, I really truly believe that this young man is the future of this organization. He has got really good stuff.
Agreed.
Now it's all about the makeup, the mind, and just how he goes about keeping himself in shape and getting himself better each time he goes out there.
Played at a powerhouse Mississippi State. Will Clark, Rafael Palmeiro, Jeff Brantley, a former Cardinal, pitched there. So many great major league players have come through Mississippi State. And the 1-2 pitch. Wow.
Not giving him a whole lot.
That's about the most emotion you see out of Dakota Hudson, too. He kind of had a little smile there, as if to say, you got to be kidding me. And the 2-2 pitch.
See Wieters going back to the dugout too.
A fan may be wondering, why would Hudson be blowing on his fingertips on a hot day and he's sweating? Can you explain that?
I really don't know. Can't help you with that one.
Is it the seams?
No, I think that he's probably just, you know, he's just trying to keep the tips of his fingers dry, maybe. You know, everyone just has habits, and sometimes it's just a habit, you know. Because normally if your fingers get a little too wet, you go to the rosin bag, you wipe your hands off on your pants. You saw the other night when it was raining, Adam Wainwright was literally just holding onto his leg to keep the inside of his hand dry.
Well, byproduct of not having that cold third strike, the pitch count goes up. You got to work here.
Yeah, and Eichhoff's having a good at bat here, but I don't try to trick him. I still just go after him with the good sinker.
Pitch number 9 coming up at this at bat.
This is where you don't want to get caught up fooling around, throwing a slider to a pitcher, walking him, and then you start the top of the lineup all over again.
Off the mask of Wieters. The emergency catcher would be Jairo Munoz, who, by the way, his older brother Jairo was a right-handed pitcher in the Phillies organization 2015 and 16. And the play made. Eichhoff retired in a 1-2-3 inning. Coming up, DeYoung, Goldschmidt, and Ozuna. Cardinals with a 1 lead. Present for right there, John Brebier turns 29 today, but last night, first hit, first run scored in the big leagues. With more on that, let's check in with the Cat, Jim Hayes.
Yeah, as we documented, John Brebier never got the ball from his major league debut. I can confirm he got the ball from his first major league hit last night. He told me the whole experience of getting that hit wasn't as pleasant as you might think. He told me it was zero fun. It was all terrifying. I've seen Nicasio before, and he's not a guy I want to hit off ever. It's Brebbia's birthday, as you mentioned. He explained to me why he doesn't wear batting gloves. He said, I want to be at one with the bat, plus I don't have any. And guys, as for his running style on the bases, we saw it on display last night. Brebbia says he modeled it after Jackie Joyner-Kersee. That's what he said.
Well, if you're going to model it after somebody, that great
pretty good one.
St. Louisan would be the one.
Brebbia should be left-handed. There's just no other explanation.
If you only knew the half of it.
I'm not sure I see a lot of JJK there, but
no.
I did see hustle.
But it's a nice little shout out to our friend Jackie Joyner-Kersee,
who's been very involved with Cardinals care in the 6K run coming up at the end of the season.
Actually get to spend a lot of time with her. We're on the board together of a charity in St. Louis called Care to Learn, and she is amazing to be around.
Wonderful lady, great athlete, great ambassador. Here's Paul DeJong, who is 0 for 2. What do you think, Jimmy? This at bat, Paul DeJong gets a hanging breaking ball and makes it a 3-1 game.
I mean, Eichhoff's been trying to give him a pitch to hit. Just hasn't really connected with it yet.
He had a few hangers in that first at bat and the second one. And it's now 3-0, and he's got the green light. Eichhoff had a 10 pitch at bat in his plate appearance back in the 5th, and trying to catch his breath here, so 3-0. And DeJong sends one into center field. Backing up Kingery a step or two to make the catch. Frustration to jubilation there. 3-0, and he gets a fly ball. Brings in Goldschmidt, who was called out on strikes and a curveball borderline pitch back in the 1st. Singled to center, then advanced to second base and was picked off. And eventually that cost the Cardinals in this game. They had 3 singles in the 4th and did not score. And the Phillies now shifting with Goldschmidt up, 3 on the left side. Two and 1. Eichhoff came over for Cole Hamels. We got 6 players coming back in that deal from Texas, as Goldschmidt goes away from the shift and picks up his 2nd hit. He's had a good series.
I'll tell you what, he hits the ball the other way with the best of them, and that tells you anything, that they were shifting that much on him. The way he's been pulling the ball too much, and he was talking about that the other day. He's been getting around balls that he doesn't feel like he should. This is more him right here, staying through the ball and hitting the ball up the middle and the other way.
Here's Ozuna homered on a 1-2 pitch to right field back in the 2nd, and singled off the glove of Gene Segura. He's 2 for 2. Everything he's hit in this game has been hard. So 1 out, runner at first. What can you do, by the way, if you're Mike Schilt? You know, he's changed the lineup. He's moved Walker out of the rotation. But in games like this, do you want to be aggressive? Do you want to hit and run?
You put your finger on the hustle button. It's the only thing you can do. You do whatever it takes. Look at this, the way they're playing right here too. You ask Ozuna, maybe not Ozuna, but
that's
you
why
ask
I bring this
players
up.
To put the ball in play, force hit and runs. Look at the whole right side of the infield's open. He's doing a nice job of staying back, hitting the ball the other way.
And he bounces into a double play, 6-4-3.
And you really hope that he doesn't hit a ball right at the shortstop.
Dakota Hudson getting the start today, and let's take a look at his afternoon. BJC Healthcare difference maker.
Take a look here at Dakota Hudson today. Had a heck of a start to this game. Good sliders, ground balls for sinkers. You see the strikeout right there. Even though it's up, the ball has really been moving today for him. 3 hits so far, really keeping the Phillies off balance. And the key is that sinker has been all over the place, all over the strike zone. Has been able to use that slider efficiently because of that.
So here we go in the bottom of the 6th. McCutchen, 3rd time through the lineup. Then Segura and Harper in a 2-1 game. And St. Louis in desperate need of winning a road game, salvaging a game in the series. Just getting back on track. 1 ball and 1 strike. McCutchen had 3 walks and a homer last night. Scored 4 times. And this far has been a quality pickup here for the Phillies. 3 years, $50 million in the offseason. There's a ground ball. Jerko again. He's been busy down there at 3rd, and they get McCutchen by a step. First out, and it brings in Segura 0 for 2. Phillies have just 3 hits. Their first came by Knapp. Single to center. That was in the 3rd. And then we saw a bloop single to right field by Andrew McCutchen. And a double off the wall in left field from Bryce Harper, and that's been it. Pitch count at 73, and here's Segura. And the first pitch taken low. Jerko 5 grounders hit his way, and also the line drive. Three and 0. And there's a strike. Previous pitch looked to be a strike too, but when you have your catcher kind of stab at it a little bit, which Wieters did.
I see what you're doing. See, sticking up for the umpire a little bit. Can't be perfect all the time.
And now a 1-out walk. Not what you want to do with Harper coming up. Join us on Tuesday, June 4th. Cardinals take on the Reds, and 30,000 fans take home a Cardinals decal featuring Molina, Carpenter, Goldschmidt, DeYoung, courtesy of Shelter Insurance. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. And it's also the $6 ticket deal available for that Red Series. It's only Segura's 12th walk of the year. So the tying run is aboard, and the go-ahead run comes to the plate, and it's Harper swinging a hot bat. Be careful here. Goes the other way again, slices it into the corner. Segura racing to 3rd, dug out by Ozuna. And Bryce Harper, another double.
Well, there's really nothing you can do here if you're Dakota Hudson. This is all tipping your cap to Bryce Harper. He makes a good pitch. Bryce Harper knows he's throwing sinkers, and he stays inside the ball. And this is a really good job of hitting right here by Harper. If I'm the pitching coach right now, I walk out there and say, hey, nothing you can really do about that. Now let's concentrate on getting the rest of these guys out this inning.
Well, the previous time that Hudson and the Cardinals were faced with this situation was back in the 4th, and they intentionally passed. Remember, Rhys Hoskins, and brought up Hernandez, who grounded out but did pick up an RBI. John Gant throwing in the Cardinal pen. Hoskins, the intentional walk back in the 4th inning, and they're going to do it again here in the 6th. Playing with fire. To your point, you do this because Hoskins can clearly, bring damage, but you have Hernandez who runs well and runs from the left side of the batter's box. So even a ground ball, it's got to be hard to hit to turn 2. Set up the force though at any bag on the infield, and the first pitch is taken for a ball.
So here's the thing for me is Hoskins has 60 strikeouts.
That's
in less than 200 at bats, and I'm going with the decision that Mike makes. But in another way, I think that you go out there and maybe with that, what they did there with going to see what he's comfortable with. I have to have faith in my pitcher there that he can make some pitches to a righty, especially a guy who strikes out a lot.
1 ball and 1 strike. So it's a risky move. No question about it.
It's a risky move on either way, either side.
Lined, and it's a double play. Cardinals needed that. A line shot off the bat of Hernandez into the glove of DeYoung. He tags out Harper, and the move may not have been pretty, but it pays off. A scorcher. Well, a double play, and the Cardinals have turned 2 of those today, 1 on the ground, and then the line out there moments ago, the Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. 2-1 ball game. Line on Eichhoff now pitching into the 7th. 6 hits, couple of runs. Both were earned. They were solo home runs. No walks. He has struck out 4 in 82 pitches of work. His last 19 pitches have produced 7 outs, so he's got to go in the right direction. But it goes back to the point in that 2nd inning that we mentioned. You get the offense rolling, you get a couple of home runs, pile on and keep it going. That's exactly what you said. And the Cardinals have not, but they have this 2-1 lead and really a desperate need of a win today.
Yeah, desperate need of some offense too. It's like you can see this could be a dangerous build-up here. The Phillies making a comeback. Got to figure out a way to at least push another run here. Maybe 2. Maybe get another run in the 8th. These are huge runs. You start to really let the opposing team know that you're just kind of stepping on their neck, so to speak, where you're just kind of piling on, even if it's just 1.
Martinez hits it out to right, and it's a base hit just over the outstretched arm and glove of the second baseman Hernandez. So leadoff base hit. Martinez 1 for 3, and it brings in Matt Wieters, who's 2 for 2.
Good slider. He stays with breaking ball more or less, not the slider. Stays with it. Just flips it out there to right field. Probably nothing more to make a pitcher mad than to put that ball into play for a base hit.
He had struck out the previous at bat on that loopy curveball, and now Wieters looks at a pitch high, and he's homered today on a 2-2 pitch back in the 2nd and singled in the 4th. Edgar Garcia, he's got that live arm throwing in the Phillies bullpen. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Wieters. Took a pitch the other way against the shift his last time up.
Well, I really do believe that against Eichhoff, that's how you have to approach it from both sides of the plate. Not really challenging you with the fastball. Throws the ball up and in off the plate, up above the zone. Tries to get you out with the breaking stuff.
And the breaking ball in the dirt. Carlos Martinez throwing in the Cardinal pen.
Nice job by Knapp keeping that ball in front.
Yep. And Wieters hits a ground ball to the right side. Out there, the turn and safe. Throw was just a bit high, and Martinez caused that throw to go high with a slide at second base. Segura, very athletic shortstop, but throw just a tad high, and because of that, Wieters hustling down the line, and with that jump at first base, he's safe.
Not a really good throw, kind of stopped Segura from coming across the bag and had to regroup, and you could see his steps were off, everything was off, and that leads to the bad throw.
But it's a little thing like that that can keep the inning going and alive. We'll see if it pays off. Jed Jerko is fly to center, grounded out with 2 runners on in the 4th. Segura came in, barehanded a ball, and made a very fine play to end that threat. Two 2-0 the count. Jed Jerko with a home run on Saturday off the bench against the Atlanta Braves, and that's his lone homer hit this year.
How about one more right here?
That's what I was thinking. Hits a high fly ball out to deep left, and yes sir, he's done it. You can see it coming. You can feel it. On a 2-0 pitch, he smoked it in the seats in left, and the Cardinals get a 2-run bomb off the bat of Jed Jerko. You can see it coming.
Much needed runs in the later innings.
2-run homer by Jerko, his second of the season, and it's a 4-1 Cardinal lead.
Hanging slider. We called it earlier today. He's going to hang one of those eventually, and someone's going to hit it. Wasn't the curveball, ended up being the slider.
You also said earlier a lot of pitches are belt high with the umpire, and I thought that's Jed Jerko territory.
Yeah.
That's where he loves the ball right there. (4-1) Cardinals here in the top of the 7th. Gateway Honda home run inning, and thanks to Jed Jerko, the Gateway Honda dealers donating $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri with that 2-run blast. 4-1, the Cardinals now have the lead. All their runs have come via the long ball. 3 home runs hit. Eichhoff goes 6 1/3 and now gives way to Garcia. 8 hits, 4 runs all earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and 3 home runs allowed. The slide by Jose Martinez breaking up the double play, and that could loom large in this game. Does advance in terms of outs recorded in the inning, the fact that they didn't get one. And a runner stayed on base, and it turns out to be a 2-run homer. Matt Carpenter has moved to the on-deck circle. He would pinch hit for Dakota Hudson. And Bader sends one out to left center. It's well hit. It's at the wall, and it'll stay in the ballpark. Catch made right in front of the wall.
See Harrison's reaction too. Wanted that one bad after he got close to second base. Realized it got caught.
So Matt Carpenter will pinch hit for Dakota Hudson. Very good May as he finishes up. Hudson does, with a strong outing here in Philly. 6 innings and the 1 run allowed for Dakota. Now it's up to the bullpen to get those final 9 outs. Only 82 pitches for Hudson, and it's 82 pitches, Jimmy, with Kingery, Knapp, Franco coming up, and they've combined to go 1 for 6 today.
Yeah, I would like to see him go back out there, but I'll tell you what, this win is super important right here, and I don't think Mike wants to let this get away from him. Not one of those games you want to take a chance and see if he gets a guy on here and a guy on there and then pull him out, and then you're putting a lot of pressure on that bullpen. Got a guy like Carlos Martinez out there, and maybe let him start a fresh inning and see what he can do.
I think that's the part that stands out to me, is that even though Martinez is accustomed to coming in, even if he has to clean up an inning, but former starter, he's just getting back. I think you want to start him clean. 31,206 for day baseball attendance today. 3-1-2-0-6. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Carpenter, coming off the bench here this afternoon. And the check swing did not go.
Close.
Well, when you see Jerko play the defense he's played today, hits a 2-run homer, and you think about, if you win with this lineup, do you go back with Jed Jerko if you win tomorrow night?
We'd like to see him get back out there. Got to get hot somehow, and you can't do that on the bench. So you're right. It'll be interesting to see what goes on tomorrow night if they win this game.
And the 2-2 pitch. And Carpenter lifts it in the air. Out to deep left. It's another home run for St. Louis. A pinch hit homer for Matt Carpenter. And the Cardinals add on to their lead. It's now 5-1, and all the runs today have come via the home run for St. Louis. Told you should have pinch hit for Hudson.
I like it. Good job by Carp going with the pitch. He's got a sinker down and away, and he just stayed back. He's having trouble staying back, especially against some of those breaking balls, and he finally got a fastball to hit.
And now Colton Wong. And thanks to Matt Carpenter, another $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. The Gateway Honda dealers will make that donation and happily write that check. Well, Mike Schilt in the bottom of the 6th had the intentional walk of Hoskins in a 2-1 game. That turned out to be a double play. And here in the top of the 7th, he pitch hits for Hudson. That turns out to be a home run. Making the right moves. Wong with a fly ball into center, and he'll be 0 for 4 today in the leadoff spot. Big inning for the Cardinals. They pick up 3. 2-run homer hit by Jed Jerko, and Carpenter off the bench, a solo home run. Cardinals with 4 home runs hit today, and they have a 5-1 lead. Hudson 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run allowed, and he walked 3, struck out 4. Wieters 2 for 3 with a homer. Eichhoff pitched into the 7th, gave up the 2-run homer to Jerko that knocked him out of the game, and Bryce Harper 2 for 3, a couple of doubles. So Carlos Martinez in our Chevy Colt to the pen will come on in the 7th inning. The Cardinals now with a 4-run lead. St. Louis also taking out of the game right fielder Jose Martinez. Dexter Fowler in, and he'll play right field. Fowler going into the 5th spot in the Cardinal lineup. Martinez into the 9th spot. And the batter will be Scott Kingery, followed by Knapp and Franco. 5-1 St. Louis. First pitch by Martinez is pulled foul, and we're underway in the home half of the 7th. Hyundai pitch arsenal on the right-hander. The fastball, changeup, cutter, and curve.
Well, you see those percentages, but what you don't see is the stuff, the velocity, the nasty break on the slider, the big curveball, and the occasional amazing changeup. He's got it all. But just can he put it together consistently, depending what he's coming out of the bullpen or if he's a starter.
Two balls and one strike. Kingery is struck out and also popped out with 2 runners on to end a threat back in the 4th. That's hit out of play. The lights now have been turned on here at Citizens Bank Park. We mentioned that there is rain coming.
Yeah, I don't like to see those lights. But I feel we have at least another hour, hour and a half till the rain gets here. Hopefully.
2 balls and 2 strikes. There's that slider down. Given that 4-run lead, so important to get an efficient, clean inning. Don't walk anyone, especially at this point where the Cardinals are in need of a win here today.
For sure, you don't want to give any free passes right here, any kind of hope to this Phillies offense.
And he just did it. Leadoff walk issued by Martinez. Reminder that if you want to get tickets, great way to do it. Cardinals.com and StubHub. Even after the first pitch, official partner of the Cardinals, StubHub. 4th walk that the Phillies have received today. And the batter will be Andrew Knapp. St. Louis has turned 2 double plays this afternoon. One on the ground back in the 3rd and a key double play in the 6th with the bases loaded. A line out caught by DeYoung, and then he tagged out Harper. Dropping down a bunt. Martinez will get the shore out at first base with Goldschmidt getting back to the bag. I'm not sure why you do that 4 runs down.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that either. I don't know if maybe that was a bunt for a base hit.
It's got to be. It's going to be ruled a sacrifice, but he's going to be trying to bunt for a base hit.
It shouldn't be ruled a sacrifice.
And it brings in Michael Franco, who is grounded into a double play and also lined out. So 1 out and a runner at second base. But when you're down by 4 late in the game, you're giving away outs. And that's a ground ball with the play right in front of DeYoung, out there with the tag by Jerko. They run right into the out. That was Kingery.
It's back to back.
Wow.
Bad plays by the Phillies. Thank you very much.
And play is right in front of Paul DeYoung, and he makes it easily. So Nick Williams will be the pinch hitter for Garcia. Hits from the left side. So here in the 7th, down 5-1, you had a bunt resulting in an out. Did advance a runner, and then the runner runs right into the second out. And so not the prettiest of innings this far for the Phillies. And there's a strike at 95 from Carlos Martinez. And the 0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. That's it down the left field line and out of play. J.D. Hammer is a right-hander throwing in the pen. We saw him close out the game and finish it up for the Phillies yesterday.
Little Vaughn Miller.
I like Ricky Vaughn.
Ricky Vaughn, Vaughn Miller. A lot of Vaughns out there. And 1 Hammer.
'97. That's good to see from Martinez. And it's 2-2. And he's trying to say you can't touch this. Hammer time. 2-2 pitch. And he struck him out. Strikeout of Williams and a scoreless frame put up by Martin. J.D. Hammer's had a couple of appearances, 2 innings and 3 strikeouts, 0 ERA. It's our Chevy call to the pen. Acquired for Pat Neshek, and then Neshek went on the DL for the Phillies, and Hammer was the replacement for him, and he'll get DeYoung, Goldschmidt, and Ozuna. The Cardinals with 9 hits today, 4 home runs, and a 5-1 lead. And the first pitch taken high. We saw that this right-hander yesterday was throwing mid to high 90s.
Yeah, got a good arm. Good off-speed pitch. It's got excellent glasses. And a great name.
And the 1-1 pitch to DeYoung. Kind of shows though that curveball or slider, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of hooks it a little bit. It almost looks like a knuckle curve, though. I think you can see the finger coming up in the glove once in a while.
Month of May for DeYoung, batting .217 with just 6 extra base hits. So it's been a collective funk for the Cardinal lineup, and maybe today they get out of it, play some of the bench guys, and reverse things.
I would still like them to score a few more runs.
3-1 hit out of play, and it's 3-2. And a nice play made by Fan to our right, down in the seats.
Much better than the one we saw last night.
Taking shots at your own kid. Struggled with the foul ball. The 3-2 pitch. Strikeout of DeYoung, the fastball at 94. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Toyota. Let's go places. So DeYoung, couple of strikeouts today, and he's 0 for 4. And here's Goldschmidt, 2 hits. 5-1 our score. And Goldschmidt pops it up to the right side, out of play. Well, when they boo here in Philly, it's not just the players, but sometimes they'll boo each other, the fans.
Boo each other.
Goldschmidt singled to center in the fourth, and also a single to right. A little tardy with that breaking ball. Maybe didn't read it quite well.
Yeah, I think sometimes he really guesses a little bit, and then he really looks location. And if it's off, you can kind of look a little uncomfortable up there.
0-2 pitch and a strikeout. So back-to-back Ks. Jimmy, you're telling me how much you enjoy Star Wars night, and that's coming up on Wednesday. Cardinals.com/theme, part of our theme nights. Some we show on the air, others you have to head to the website Cardinals.com/theme to see all the different theme nights at the ballpark, and one of your favorites, Star Wars night, coming up.
Yep, there's birds on the lightsaber.
That's right. Here's Ozuna, home run, single, and grounded into a double play.
Wondering how those birds keep them burning their feet.
I hadn't really thought of that. Probably won't. Here's a 1-0 pitch.
They won't burn their feet, or you won't think about it anymore. Or
either
both.
one. Take your pick. One pitch.
What we got there? Little action. You can hear the whole stands go, oh. It's a great block here by the catcher.
That's his pen.
It's a bulletproof pen. Another homer, Marcel.
3-1.
Good time for it.
He's now up to 16 on the year, and with the solo home run back in the second, he has driven in 49. Three-one pitch. Popped up on the infield. And the catch made. Hoskins with the catch. Cardinals go 1-2-3. The Art Museum here in Philly. This weekend, the Cubs in town. Tomorrow night it begins 6:30. Michaelis, Yu Darvish for Chicago will come your way at 6:30, Fox Sports Midwest. Then on Saturday, the game will be on Big Fox. Then Sunday, 12:30 pregame show. The Cubs and the Cardinals were back at it on Fox Midwest. And that's up and in by Carlos Martinez to the leadoff man, Andrew McCutchen. So top of the lineup is Andrew Miller, also begins to throw in the Cardinal pen.
You could just call me the new stat guy.
You were trying to find out when Andrew Miller was last in a game.
Yes.
It was Sunday Night Baseball at Busch Stadium against the Braves, went 2/3 of an inning. That's way inside, 3-0. Martinez walked first man he saw in the 7th. Came away unscathed. In relief of Dakota Hudson, 82 pitches, 6 innings today. 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. Walked 3, struck out 4. Second inning of work now for Carlos. McCutchen has 1 of the 4 base hits for the Phillies today. 3-1 pitch inside, and he draws a leadoff walk. Phillies have gotten 5 walks today, 2 of those intentional. And now Segura, who walked back in the 6th inning, is also flied to right and grounded to 3rd. First pitch to Segura is a ball inside. John Gant, the right-hander, for the 2nd time is up and has joined Andrew Miller. Pitch popped up and out of play. And the 1-1 pitch to Segura. Got him to reach for it, and it's a base hit with a slider. But McCutchen had to wait, make sure that wasn't caught. So he winds up at second base, and Segura picks up the hit, and the first 2 have reached.
That's probably going to be it for Carlos Martinez. Another one of those situations where you make a great pitch, like Jose Martinez did earlier, flipped it out to right field. Really got to be irritating to the pitcher.
With Harper coming up, Mike Schilt will go get Andrew Miller. That's it for Martinez. 5-1 our score. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Still unfinished business. Cardinals bullpen asked to get the final 9 outs. Martinez got the first 3, his scoreless 7th, and now Miller into the game to face Harper. And Bryce Harper, 2 more doubles today. He's 2 for 3, and he's got 2 runners on, and he can make this interesting with 1 swing.
And you don't want that to happen. You hope not to get into this situation, but you are. So hopefully you can come in and just at least get an out. It's like from now on, it's just getting out. Getting out on a guy at the plate. Getting out if they were to bunt. Just make a nice easy play. Get it out on the infield. Don't try to do too much.
And Harper hits it out to right. Run will score. Runners at the corners in a 5-2 game, and now the tying run comes to the plate. Bryce Harper is 3 for 4.
Just a little slider that doesn't get outside, and I think Bryce likes to look off speed against lefties, because the last 2 times he's seen a first pitch breaking ball from the lefty, he has hammered it.
Another pitching change coming for Mike Schilt and the Cardinals. Miller can't get Harper. John Gant coming on. Tying run at the plate. Well, partner, nothing comes easy right now for the Cardinals. It's our Chevy call to the pen and John Gant in.
You know what? You're right. It doesn't come easy, especially when you're struggling, and that's what happens, and that is why you struggle, is because you go through these stretches. But it's got to make it easier in the long haul. When you turn it around, you can reach back and go through these times in your head and draw upon them. But in the moment, it seems like it's very difficult.
Dangerous man at the plate. Hoskins with 13 homers. Twice he has been intentionally walked today and struck out. Against Gant, he's 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. So right now it's all about John Gant. 5-2 our score. Tying run at the plate. Good pitch. Strike 1. Cardinals rolled the dice twice with Hoskins up and intentionally passed him to get to Hernandez in the 4th and the 6th. And that would load the bases up for Hernandez. Had a ground out RBI, and then the second time they did that, lined into a double play.
I'll tell you what, I do not throw him a fastball over the plate in this situation. I make him earn it by hitting an off-speed pitch.
It's a fastball up, 97. Gant's velocity has been very good this year.
Got to pay attention to how he's taking pitches and where the swing is at when the ball is going through the zone, and read each pitch. That'll make your determination if you're going to challenge him late in the count, or you're going to stay with the breaking stuff outside and try to make him chase.
The 1-1 pitch off the end of the bat and foul. 1-2. Now you really could set up to do that.
Well, I mean, the thing for a hitter is it doesn't matter how good you are. When you throw 97 in there and it's even a little bit high, it's up by your face, the ball gets your attention. Start to think to yourself, I got to cheat a little bit, I got to be quicker, and then that's when it makes it really hard to hit that off-speed pitch. You have to respect the fastball. You don't know if he's trying to throw it for a strike or not.
The next by Gant, and the 1-2 with 2 runners on. And time called. Out of play.
And that's the pitch right there that tells you heads up. Starting to look for a little bit of an off-speed pitch. So you got to make your pitch, or you got to try to rush him back upstairs to keep him honest. Go with the fastball away right here.
The 1-2 to Hoskins again. Out of play. Dangerous pitch.
Well, you got to get it away. I feel like from what I've seen in this series too, you know he's going to chase. You know he wants to do his job right here. He wants to be the hero. You have to take advantage of that. Take a look and see what they're going to try and do here. And go with that breaking ball. You got to get it down.
The 1-2. 2-2.
This is the pitch I like right here. If he can get this down and away, I think he's going to chase it. Slider, nice and tight.
Base hit out to left. Now a 5-3 Cardinal lead. Good at bat, good job of hitting there. That's 4 straight that have reached for the Phillies here to start the home half of the 8th.
Take a look at the pitch by pitch right here. That's a nice job. That's the pitch I'm looking for. That slider down and away. Good fastball. Good breaking ball. But now he's seeing the breaking ball. Clearly behind the fastball here. Good breaking ball, and then it's a pretty good pitch right there. I just think he's making an adjustment, and he's really trying to stay back, fight off the fastball. Try to hit that breaking ball up the middle, and does a nice job.
Hernandez 2 for 5 against Gant with a home run.
John Gant made some nice pitches right there, and like I said earlier with Bryce Harper, sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the hitter, and I think he did a nice job.
Runners at first and second. 1 ball, no strikes. Pulled the string. Hernandez has 5 left on today.
Really nice.
But he can
change
change
up.
all that here.
Yep, really good changeup right there.
The 1-1 pitch to Hernandez. He had the 2-run homer in game 1 that proved to be the game winner. The 2-1 pitch to Cesar Hernandez. And again went with it, pulled the string.
It's a really good changeup right there. You can see, even if you're looking for it, like Hernandez was trying to stay back, but it just did not get there.
2 runs that have scored this inning were charged to Carlos Martinez. Inning plus, gave up 1 hit, 2 runs, walked 2, struck out 1. The 2-2 popped up. Jerko infield fly, and the catch made for the first out, and now it brings in Kingery. One thing that John Gant can do too is that in terms of relievers and ground balls, he gets a bunch. Gets his fair share of strikeouts, but gets a lot of ground balls, and with that he has been able to clean up innings with a double play, and that's what he would love to do right here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great pitch right there, and he's got strikeout stuff, but the ground ball is what you'd like to have, make it easier on him. He's got so many weapons. It's just which weapon do you use to get what type of out.
One out and runners at first and second. Strike 1. Kingery is not grounded into a double play this year. It's been limited time, but he's produced. Cardinals trying to salvage a game before Chris Bryant and the Cubs arrive in St. Louis for the first time in 2019, and that'll be some kind of reception Mr. Bryant will get tomorrow night. But right now they're worried about this. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And it's a strike. Catches the bottom of the zone. Kingery not happy.
Well, this has been a ball all day long. You can see it's clearly inside the Fox box. Really at the bottom of the zone, a tough one to take, but like he said, he hasn't called it all day. That'll make you upset.
And the 0-2 pitch to Scott Kingery from John Gant. Here it is. Missed outside. 1-2. Two and two. Check swing did not go from 0-2 to a full count. Mike Schilt, his reaction on the non-strike call. Looked to be a called third strike too, but didn't get it.
I mean, he's not wanting this win right here, wanting this out.
Jordan Hicks now up in the Cardinal bullpen, and a 3-2 pitch with 2 runners on. Here it comes. He struck him out. A strikeout for Gant, the biggest of the day.
Just a slider right there. Doesn't do a whole lot. Maybe even a cutter. Good timing.
JT Realmuto will pinch hit for Knapp. Runners at first and second. Realmuto representing the go-ahead run. Now Hicks, when he got up, it was maybe a couple of minutes ago, so Brian Eversgerd going over the potential hitters that he would face. Realmuto 1 for 4 against John Gant, couple of strikeouts. Gant came in, gave up the base hit to Hoskins. Got Hernandez to pop out. Kingery, the strikeout on a 3-2 pitch. Maikel Franco, who is on deck, is 3 for 5, couple of doubles against the Cardinal right-hander. So get this man right here. First and second, first pitch, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Ball 1. Realmuto 1 for 7 in the series, 4 strikeouts. And the 1-0 by John Gant. 2 balls and no strikes. And the 2-0 to Realmuto, pinch hitting. Popped up. Foul territory, and Goldschmidt with a catch. Not the kind of swing you want on 2-0. Cardinals love it though, and Gant able to pitch out of a little trouble. Cardinals home runs today in the Nissan drives of the game. Ozuna on a 1-2 pitch to right back in the second. 2-2 pitch. Matt Wieters 2 batters later. All in the second inning. And then the Cardinals get a 2-run homer hit by Jerko, and then off the bench Matt Carpenter some what is now much needed insurance. Nissan drives of the game. Yaxel Rios, right-hander, in for the Phillies. Dexter Fowler came into the ball game in the 7th. He'll lead it off. Rios, the Chevy, called to the pins. Ready, getting into that point where the injuries for the Phillies, in particular with their bullpen. David Robertson, they've had Pat Neshek, you know, those kind of injuries, big names. Adam Morgan just put on the DL 2 days ago. Those are big in these tight ball games. So a guy like Yaxel Rios here in the top of the 9th in a 2-run game has got Fowler, Wieters, and Jerko. First pitch fouled back. Tommy Hunter on the 60-day DL. Udabre Ramos is the 10-day injured list. Shift on the right side here for Fowler. Real Muto stays in the game to catch, and that's a strike. 0-2.
I feel like they've been throwing that sequence to the lefties the last 3 days. That fastball, and then all of a sudden that cutter slider down and in, trying to get him to chase. And very effective so far for the Phillies.
So the 4 home runs in this game. 4th time the Cardinals have done that this year in a ball game, and they have not had a game in which they've had 5 home runs.
Good time for it.
And the 1-2 to Dexter.
When I was in the minor leagues and then in the big leagues with the Angels, Joe Madden was our hitting coach and hitting coordinator, and he always said this is the jug run situation where you score a run right here, you're going for the jugular, because you've got a team that's trying to come back, but then you score in the 9th, basically takes the air right out of the comeback that they're trying to accomplish. And he always called it the jug run, which I loved.
Mike Schill would agree right now.
Yeah, you need to get a run right here. Kind of stymie that comeback.
2-2 out of play. Hicks getting loose in the Cardinal pen. He had the eventful Sunday night against the Atlanta Braves. That was, maybe through all the different things that have happened here in the month of May for Mike Schill, that probably was one of the tougher, if not the toughest loss of the year. Cardinals had the comeback on Saturday, had a 3-run lead on Sunday, and then could not capitalize. That snaps, and 0 for 19 for Dexter Fowler. A little bloop into left.
Well, that's a start.
So the first man aboard, and it brings in Wieters, who is homered and singled. 2 for 3. Chris Bryant had some less than complimentary comments about the city of St. Louis during their Cubs convention, and it was played all over social media, and many of the players, the Cardinal players, were clearly not happy about those comments, and Yadier Molina was very straightforward in his comments, John Brebbia, others. And Bryant makes his first appearance at Busch Stadium tomorrow, and you know the fans are going to let him hear it. There's no other way to put it.
I like the fact that you just
reminded every sure
fans.
Trust me, it'll be talked about plenty tomorrow leading up to that first pitch. Nothing in 2 the count on Matt Wieters. Bryant had a home run last night against Houston. There's also a liner in that game, Jimmy, hit by Albert Almora Jr. that hit a little girl, I think she was 4, in the seats. It's as shook up as I've ever seen a major league player. As Wieters lifts it in the air out to deep left, it's at the wall, and it's caught. Fowler tagging up from first to second.
That would have been huge for Matt Wieters. Good job by Dexter. Going to second base. This ball is either going to be caught or it's going to be a home run. Hopefully the home run, but if not, Dexter does a nice job of tagging up here. See Stubby Clapp making sure that they do not overlap, just in case.
Now Jed Jerko. He's homered.
Well, if he's going to hit another one, Danny, it's going to be right here. 98-mile-an-hour fastball for a ball. Probably going to come back with another sinker. You got to try and get ahead if you're the pitcher.
And the 1-0 pitch 2 balls and no strikes. Oof. The 2-0. That's a strike. 2-1.
Tell you what, though, if you're the Phillies and you're looking ahead, you don't really have to give in to Jerko here. You have Bader on deck, and then you don't have very many guys left on the bench.
That'll get away, and that runner, Fowler, advancing to third base. So this becomes, as you mentioned it, a important run out there in Dexter Fowler.
To take all the air out of the Phillies' sails right here if you can figure out a way to get this run in here.
Infield drawn in now. 3-1 pitch to Jerko, and he draws the walk. So Rios started this 9th inning with a single hit by Fowler to left to snap his 0 for 19. A ball that was caught at the wall in left field. A walk to Jerko, and here's Bader. Jairo Munoz on deck, and we go back to his at bat last night. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, struck out. He's got to put the ball in play. Bring that runner home.
And this is where, as a young player, you start to learn when and where you can do damage and not damage. And he can run, so he can right now basically just choke up and kind of just try and push the ball to the right side and go like crazy.
First pitch fouled back. Strike 1.
The thing for me, what I see with Harrison, and clearly, you know, I love him like a son, but he struggles in situations. When he's starting to struggle, he struggles because I think he doesn't recognize certain pitches. And right there you can clearly see he's guessing fastball, but the confidence isn't right there for when he can really sit in a location. And also, people say pick out a spot, pick out a fastball, pick out a location. You know what, at this age you don't know how to do that yet. And I remember at my age, even at 30, people would say, well, pick out a location. And when you're struggling, that's not as easy as it sounds, because you start to look for a location and you start to lose the ball coming out of the hand, which is what you really need to see more than anything.
Two strikes on Bader. So right now, Jimmy, take me inside the at bat. What are you trying to do if you're Harrison Bader?
I'm really just trying to put a fastball in play and not trying to do too much where I can recognize an off-speed pitch. So basically what you're doing is you're kind of spreading out a little bit, taking a 2-strike approach where you're just trying to see something in the zone and just put it in play, not chase.
Good pitch by Rios. He'll get him to chase there.
I will take all day long a breaking ball for a called strike 3, a good pitch fastball inside for a called strike 3 before you'd rather see him chase a breaking ball out of the zone. You want him to recognize those pitches and be able to lay off of them. And sometimes you're just going to get beat with good pitching, but you don't want to chase.
Fouled back. What about a 2-strike approach with the swing? I mean, that was a pretty healthy cut there by Bader.
Yeah, you have to shorten up a little bit and just really try to put the ball in play. I mean, it's so hard to say. It's just a feel that you have. It's kind of like when you're playing defense and getting a good jump. It's just this feel that you got to have, and it takes a long time to develop it.
Bader now 4 for 21 with runners in scoring position with 12 strikeouts.
And you can see right there, just caught in between, right? Not really confident, not really understanding what he's going to try and do. Pitcher's lucky. Completely missed his location, but because of that velocity, you got to respect it. Very tough to lay off.
So Munoz pinch hitting here for John Gant. That pitch fouled back. I mentioned earlier that Munoz's older brother Jairo, spelled Jairo, was a right-handed pitcher in the Phillies organization in 2015 and 16, and that's where Jairo learned to catch. He used to catch his brother. And it's line foul, and he's in the hole. 0-2.
Tell you what, talk about these young players. I think the youngest, the most strides made by a young player is this young man right here, Munoz.
Can hit.
Well, he couldn't hit at this level when he first got here, and he has made himself a tremendous player, especially coming off the bench. He has good at bats. He's made such adjustments, and he's got to be one of the most improved players in this league.
It's pulled foul. 0-2 the count. Rio's trying to keep this a 5-3 St. Louis lead. Looking ahead, it'll be Franco and then a pinch hitter and the top of the lineup.
And you can see one of the things that Munoz has made adjustments with is he starts to cut down his swing where he can recognize the tough off speed pitches. Doesn't mean he's always going to get a hit, but he's definitely improved his chances.
Tied him up, struck him out. 97 up and in.
And not a whole lot you can do with that. Anyone throwing 97 is you got your work cut out for you.
So here we go to the bottom of the. But one player of the game, Dakota Hudson, 82 pitches at this start, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run allowed. It was earned. He walked 3, struck out 4. He's in line for the victory if Hicks can have an efficient 9th. He's our Budweiser player of the game. So Franco, pinch hitter, McCutchen, Chevy called to the pen, and Jordan Hicks into the ball game. Cardinals are down to 1 position player left on their bench. It's Yadier Molina. There are 2 on the bench for the Phillies, Gosselin and Rodriguez. 5-3. Cardinals have out hit the Phillies 10-7.
Well, if you ever needed Jordan Hicks to have a good inning, an easy inning, this is the time.
Gosselin is moved to the on deck circle, so he'll be the pinch hitter, and that's ball 1. And the 1-0. Back to him, and 1 out. Self-defense, and Hicks makes the play on that line out.
Which one's in self-defense? The hitter or the pitcher? The ball, if he doesn't hit that ball, it hits him in the chest, I think, of the hitter. It's amazing how quick these guys are on the mound and how under control Jordan Hicks was right there.
There's Gosselin. That all-important first out, and Hicks got it. 1-0-2 and a strike as he's trying to bounce back from that tough outing that he had on Sunday night. And the 0-1 pitch. Slider hit out of play. 0-2. McCutchen on deck. Oh, 2 pitch by Hicks. Missed down and in. slightly up rather.
Pretty much the same speed as most people's fastball.
92. The 1-2 pitch by Jordan Hicks. Ground ball. Jerko. And got him.
Wow, that's concentration right there for Paul.
Nifty footwork there by Goldschmidt.
Not only the nifty footwork, but the timing of it. Literally, the ball was right in front of the runner.
Well, they talk about how a first baseman will take that throw like that. You could see that Jerko was not quite over the top, so it's going to tail. It's going to go up the line, and you expose that left arm if you're stretching.
Yeah, I talked a little bit with some of the younger first basemen in camp this year about all the guys wanted just to stretch, and I said, you got to watch Paul. Doesn't stretch. He waits to see where the ball is going to go, and then he makes the play accordingly, because you're going to sometimes have to back off the base and not just go out and get the ball all the time. He does a really nice job. I thought it was interesting too, talking to Goldschmidt this spring about, said that no one is ever really out there teaching you how to play first base. He was loving the fact that Oquendo, being a middle infielder, was able to help him a little bit and teach guys, but he said when he was coming up, nobody was teaching first base on the defensive side.
Into right, Fowler over, leaps, did he catch it? He did, and this game is over, and what a play by Dexter Fowler in right field.
Wow,
what a catch.
Wow.
And that's how the ball game comes to a close, with Dexter Fowler scaling the wall in right to make that play, and the Cardinals needed it, and Dexter letting the fans know about it. What a catch this is in right.
Watch him get up on the fence and actually elevate a little bit more.
Great play.
Whew. Nice play, Dexter. What a great play. Think they wanted to win that game right there?
Big time.
This place is stunned.
Phillies went out to talk to the umpires to see if it had hit the fan, and it apparently did not. This game is over. The Cardinals win it 5-3. Hudson, the winner, he's now 4-3. They salvage a game. It's off to St. Louis and the Cubbies tomorrow. Post game next.